In this video, we're going to download and install the Java JDK for Windows. Now, if you're using a Mac or running Linux, then skip ahead to the installation videos for your operating system later in this section, because this is all about installing and setting up the Java JDK for Windows. So firstly, we're going to do a search in Google for Java JDK. And you'll generally find the first result will be this one from Oracle, Java SE, which stands for Standard Edition Downloads. So I'm just going to click on that first one. And that brings us to this page for Java SE Downloads. We'll come over here and click on JDK Download. And now we're on a page that says Java SE Development Kit 8 Downloads. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can see that there's an option here for Windows x86 and Windows x64. Now you need to choose one of these depending on whether you've got a 32-bit or 64-bit edition of Windows on your computer. Now to find out which one you're running, if you're not sure how to do that, you can just come up here into the Start menu, click on Settings, and if you're on an older version of Windows, just go into Control Panel, and you can do a search for System. Now in this case, there's an option here for under Windows 10 to choose, see if you have a 32-bit or 64-bit edition. So that's one way of doing it. And when we scroll down here, it says System Type, 64-bit operating system, x64 based processor. So that's telling me that I'm running a 64-bit version of Windows, and I'll need to choose the x64 version when I download. But if you're running an older version of Windows, you may not see that exactly like that. So you'll just do a search for System. And you should have an option to go into System or About Your PC. Once you click on that, somewhere on the list that comes up, there'll be an option for you to click on About, or you'll see something similar with 64-bit operating system x64 in my case. So you'll choose either the 64-bit version if that's what you see, but if it says 32-bit, then you'll need to choose the x86 version. So I'm going to close this down. So in my case, you saw that it said x64. So I need to click on Accept License Agreement, and I'm going to choose the x64. So you'll choose either that or the x86 depending on which version of Windows you're running on your computer. So I'm going to click on the x64, and it's then going to download. And it may actually ask you for the folder where to put the download, so keep track of where that is, because you may need to start the program manually after it's been downloaded. But in this case, on this browser and on Windows 10, you can see that we've got the little window down the bottom of the screen, and it's giving us a progress, and that's going to run automatically once it's downloaded. So I'll just pause now until this is finished downloading. Okay, so you can see it's just about finished downloading now. We should get an option to run it, or in this case it'll probably run it automatically. So you can see the installer is running automatically for me. So you need to do it manually like this. You'll need to click on Run, or it will start up automatically. Once we do that, we should see the Java installer start up. Click on Yes where prompted, if it does come up with that little window. And now we're going to go through the Java setup process. I'm going to click on Next here. And you can see the folder there. You may need to know that folder. It may or may not be relevant, but we may need to enter that when we get to the stage in the next video of installing Android Studio. So just keep a general note of where that is. In this case, for me, you can see it says Program Files /Java/ and then the actual folder where the Java Development Kit is going to be installed. I'm just going to click on Next. Java installer goes through and installs the files. And then it should come up with another screen in a minute for the JRE. So we've got two parts here. We've got the JDK, which is the Java Development Kit, and here's the next bit, which is the JRE, Java Runtime Edition. And you can see there it does say JRE this time. The previous one said JDK. So the first part, the C program files Java, is the same, and it's installing this into JRE. So I'm going to click on Next to that. And let that finish installing, and then we'll just do a check to make sure that it's working, and we'll be done. Alright, so at that point we've actually installed Java, the JDK and the Java Runtime Edition on this computer. So I can click on Close. And an optional step here, you don't necessarily have to do this, but you can come down to the Start window and either click on the Run window if you've got an older version of Windows, or Windows 10. You can just click in where it says Ask Me Anything, and just type in Command, and it'll come up with an option for Command Prompt, as you can see there. I'm going to press Enter and select that. So you'll either type CMD if you're running the an older version of Windows in the Run window under the Start menu, and that will come up with the same thing. Or in this case, I've typed in Command as you saw, and I've got that option. I'm going to press Enter. And I'm just going to size it up a little bit so you can see what we're typing here. And I can type Java space dash and version. And you can see for me it's saying Java version 1.8.0_102. Now don't worry too much about the number after the 1.8. You might find that the 102 is a higher number for you. Each time Java releases a new version or an update, that number at the end will change. The main thing is that it says 1.8 and something on the end. And the fact that we're getting this message saying that we've got a Java version tells us that it's actually installed and ready to go. So I can close that down. And at this point, we've now finished the Java installation of the Java Development Kit, and we can move on to the next video where we're going to download and install Android Studio. So I'll see you in that next video.